Hello, darlings! This video is dedicated to my favorite anime of the season. It has a lot to look forward. So if you haven't seen this anime, these are the things that you need to know before you watch it. So it seems Godzilla Singular Point is connected with all Godzilla's multiverse. Or maybe the ending just has a lot of Easter eggs and references of every film, including the American films. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, or you can also become a patron and support the channel. The anime mentions the gravitational singularities, that are points in space where the gravity is so dense. According to this story, these singular points could have been there since the Big Bang, or they are passing by in a specific moment of time and are passing again at the same spot in other moment of time. Like wormholes, or also the singular points can be in the same place at the same time but in a different universe. Meaning that for time travel to happen, there has to be a connection with the singular points. The anime also mentions the speculative evolution, that is referred as fantastical evolution by the characters. That is, studying the biology and anatomy of hypothetical creatures and in what environment they can live and how they might evolve. In other words, imaginary creatures in an imaginary world, scientifically explained. It is very popular and important for any science fiction or fantasy genre in the creation of new monsters or characters for movies and shows. For example, all Godzilla monsters are created that way. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's move on explaining deeper things. Godzilla Singular Point mentions the egg inside the egg inside the egg. It means that we know the answers of things before we know the question itself. The closest I could get to this is the Platonic doctrine of recollection. Although Plato speaks of it as a soul that knows the answer and a body that acts as a vase and haven't remembered the answer. This can be seen in all the "is this your card" magic tricks, where the magician doesn't know the answer, but because the spectator knows the answer, the spectator is giving the answer all throughout the process, and in the end, the magician guesses the answer, they know it's already correct. And we also see this in the YouTube algorithm. Now, how all of these things get together is with the bootstrap paradox. The best example is Fry from Futurama knowing he is his own grandfather, where the Platonic doctrine of recollection states we know all the answers before knowing what is going to happen. And the gravitational singularities are the ones sending that data from our future soul to travel through time and space. Meaning, right now we don't know the answer we are searching for, but our future soul is sending a lot of subliminal messages, making us think that the actions and decisions we are making with our own free will are in fact part of an already written history. This is where Futurama comes handy. With this information, you can now go watch the anime. It's hard explaining something only 10% of the viewers of Godzilla understood. But because now I will explain how they all make sense with Godzilla Singular Point itself, come back to the video after you finish watching the anime. Unless you don't care about being spoiled about it. Okay, so the singular points they mention all throughout the anime are the gravitational singularities that might come from a parallel universe or might come from the future. These singular points were found by the scientist who owned the mansion in episode 1, who claimed he heard a song over and over again, this song being the one we listened in episode 1. So this scientist heard a song already existing from the future, but not in his timeline, until he heard it for the first time. This song later became a folk song. Song makes reference to the folk story about the monsters and the Red Sea in the current present. Everything happens according to Godzilla Singular Points until Jet Jaguar and Pelop cannot communicate. In here, Jet Jaguar has its own timeline and Pelop also has its own timeline. According to Pelop, Pelop is helping May to solve the end of the world. And according to Jet Jaguar, May and June exchange messages of May and Pelop discoveries in other parallel universe, making June guess the possible steps toward the ending where they all survive. In the end, where they have to exchange the so-awaited code, in which the code is inside the folk song we have been listening since episode 1, Pelops finds a singular point to time travel 60 years in the past and record that song with the old man, and also time travels a few hours before the end of the world and fuse itself with Jet Jaguar. So when Jet Jaguar is rebooting itself, it is Pelops sending the code, but Jet Jaguar took some time to update completely. In other words, to remember the answer they already knew. And with that, they perfected the red crystal that was in a stable to kill monsters to a blue crystal able to kill monsters. And they managed to save the world, making Pelops 2 its own grandfather, because they sent the song to the past that made the scientists start the research and made people create a folk story about monsters before Jet Jaguar was even invented, to send the code to itself 3 hours before the catastrophe. These characters didn't have free will since the beginning, and probably those messages from Yoon and Mei were not even real, but were sent by Pelops 2 to make the only good ending possible. I hope you enjoy Godzilla Singular Point. I sure did enjoy it myself. And I am looking forward for Mechagodzilla in Season 2. Is there something I missed about Godzilla? Comment it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.